We're heading for a day out in the Royal Borough of Greenwich. Why don't you come along for the ride?
Well, we're walking actually, and it's that place there in red, just in London, on the Thames. We're going to start this trip in style at the pub, where everything English starts.
I've got a good idea. Why don't we finish here as well?
I concur. Greenwich is easily accessible. You can get here by train, by the Docklands Light Railway, by river bus, by tube and bus, by bicycle, walking, or by car.
No. Don't do what we did. We came by car. Cost us £28 to park for 4 hours.
But if you are getting public transport, then please do check the timetables, as there can often be transport strikes.
Oh, that hurts.
Well, it's a rainy day here on the beautiful Thames, but we won't let that dampen our spirits, will we dare?
Not a chance. In this country, we don't tan, we rust.
To the right of this picture, you can see the Greenwich Peninsula. It is now dominated by the huge Millennium Dome that was built in 2000. It was constructed to house the Millennium Experience, a major exhibition celebrating the turn of the millennium. Today, the structure primarily serves as a world-class entertainment venue. Known as the O2 Arena, it hosts a wide range of events, including concerts, sporting events, comedy shows, and so much more. This is one of the busiest entertainment venues in the world.
For those of you that are not faint of heart, you can have a go up at the O2, where you can take an exhilarating outdoor climb over the roof.
Not a bloody chance.
Sorry for the laugh. Anyway, you can choose daytime, sunset, or twilight climbs, and prices vary according to your time. Now then, if you want something really different, you can have dinner on a platform
100 blooming foot above the Thames.
It's called London in the Sky, and I imagine the views are outstanding. Prices vary. You can have breakfast, lunch, afternoon tea, and dinner. I can tell you dinner costs £169 per person.
But free to bring back up. On a side note, I got to see my wonderful husband perform Les Mis at the O2 Arena. This was the 25th anniversary concert. Hugely proud. So, back to this side of Greenwich. Here we have the Royal Maritime Hospital. Founded in 1694 during the reign of King William III and Queen Mary II, its primary purpose was to provide a place of retirement and care for elderly and injured seamen, including naval veterans.
This architectural masterpiece was designed by the renowned architect Sir Christopher Wren, and the buildings are in the Baroque style and are considered to be some of the finest examples of this architectural period. This isn't the first building that was on this site, because King Henry VII built Greenwich Palace right here, and that was the birthplace of King Henry VIII.
Oh, I know this. And Queen Mary I and Queen Elizabeth I.
Who were Henry VIII's first two children, of course, and Elizabeth I is probably the most renowned and best-known English monarch, the Virgin Queen.
This is the chapel of St. Peter and St. Paul, also known as the Old Royal Naval College Chapel. It's a beautiful and historically significant place of worship located within the Old Royal Naval College. This chapel is absolutely stunning. Again, designed by Christopher Wren, it just takes your breath away. The high ceilings, the intricate wooden design, and the stained glass windows. It's open to the public for anyone to enjoy.
And this is the painted ceiling, often referred to as the English Sistine Chapel.
The ceiling is particularly impressive and shows King William III and Queen Mary II in the heavens, surrounded by gods and goddesses. This central scene symbolises the Protestant succession and the stability of the British monarchy. Walking slightly further along towards the Cutty Sark, you can see these rather strange domes either side of the river. They are the connections for the foot tunnel underneath the river to connect the north and the south bank.
Cutty Sark was built exclusively for the China tea trade. Ooh, say that 5 times really fast. Tea had been enjoyed in Asia for centuries, but did not reach Britain until the 1650s. Initially, tea was hailed for its medicinal quality and enjoyed by the wealthy, but thanks in part to an extensive smuggling network, its popularity exploded. tea taxes were slashed to end the smuggling, and in the early 19th century, working families were consuming it twice a day. But a fashion developed among Victorians for consuming the first tea to be unloaded in London. This spurred the great tea races and a spirit of intense competition. Get home first, and you could command huge prices. That's why, as a clipper, the Cutty Sark was designed to be fast.
Today, you can go on board and visit the ship, have a good old look around, and even climb up to the crow's nest, if you're so inclined. This ship has a huge history and definitely worth you delving in to find out more.
It's part of the food market here where you can get almost anything right next to the Cutty Sark. Mexican to Korean corn dogs, Chinese, paella, Peruvian food, quinoa, Greek food, buns and burgers, hot dogs.
All these things are probably going to
Greek, very popular, lots of people eating here. For a nice snack during the day. So we've just got some paella from the market to try. Chicken paella, so we'll see how it is.
This was not bad tasting paella at all. Unfortunately, it was cold, which isn't what you want when it was cold and raining outside. And there was rain dripping down the back of Derek's neck as we sat and ate. But it did taste very nice. Just could have been a little warmer. Both the temperature of the food and the weather outside.
So, taking my cold, wet back and leaving the rest of the paella because it was cold, we're going to take a little walk into Greenwich town. A beautiful little town. Lots to do here, lots of coffee. You can get coffees, you can get fast food, you can get everything. But also, there is the Greenwich Market. And we're going to do that next.
London's favourite market, Greenwich Market, was established by Royal Charter in 1700 and originally sold fruit, vegetables and livestock. Today, it's the centre of Greenwich shopping life, with shops and stalls all undercover, packed with art, antiques, fashion, jewellery, handmade gifts and so much more. The market is open every day, but is very, very busy on the weekends. There are 48 different kinds of food stands in here, from sushi to ice cream.
You could honestly leave this place 50 pounds heavier. Although we're not having any donuts today because we're saving ourselves for something special, that little donut shop is amazing.
If you're here on holiday, this is a great place to get souvenirs or gifts to take back with you.
And if you've worn out your shoes walking to Greenwich, you can always stop at this rather lovely shoe shop and purchase some lovely leather shoes, something for the eclectic taste. And although my audio is not working, I was stopped by this gentleman who just happens to be a vlogger from Barbados, where we are heading to next on our via. He had a serious case of gimbal envy.
Ooh, Mrs.
Well, he just wanted to talk about a guy's gimbal, you know what I mean?
Well, it was lovely to meet him anyway. So no visit to the east side of London would be complete without some pie, mash and liquor. This is a traditional British dish that originated in the East End of London. It was usually filled with minced beef or eels, served with mashed potatoes and a green parsley sauce known as liquor. The liquor is made from parsley, flour, butter and the water in which the eels were cooked. The dish has a long history and was once a staple of working class diets in London. It's still enjoyed by many today, including myself. But today you can have the minced beef pie and potato with a normal gravy. You don't have to have the liquor and you don't have to have the eels, even though I think you'll be missing out.
Good, because I would have starved to death.
At the gates of the Maritime Museum, there's a rather impressive statue of William III, William of Orange. He became King of England and Ireland on the 22nd of January 1689 and King William II of Scotland on the 4th of April 1689. King William III died on the 8th of March 1702 at Kensington Palace.
The Royal Borough of Greenwich is also home to the National Maritime Museum. This museum is the largest maritime museum in the world and houses the most important holdings on the history of Britain at sea, comprising more than 2 million items including maritime art, both British and 17th century Dutch, cartography or map making, manuscripts including official public records, ships, models and plans, scientific and navigational instruments, and an extensive archive that includes films and photographs. Special attention is paid to such mariners as Lord Horatio Nelson, James Cook, and Scott of the Antarctic. And this guy, John Paul Jones. And up on the second floor, there's a huge central atrium with an enormous map of the world and the 7 seas. And there's little boats on wheels that the kids can sit on and sail around the 7 seas.
This is a really great place for kids. There's so much for them to do, so much for them to interact with. It really keeps their attention and it's a lot of fun.
And here's the absolute highlight of the museum for me. This is the uniform tunic that Lord Nelson wore when he was shot in the shoulder. And there you can see just by the epaulette is the white hole where the bullet or musket ball entered his body, went down through his heart and lodged in his backbone. And he said, "They've done for me, Hardy, they've shattered my backbone." This is another one of his uniform pieces, although hasn't got the hole.
We are leaving the museum and heading through Greenwich Park up to the centrepiece of this whole trip, the Greenwich Observatory. On your way up, do take a time to stop and look back. The views from up here are absolutely amazing.
That statue next to the Royal Observatory is that of General Wolfe, who met General Montcalm, the French commander on the Plains of Abraham outside of Montreal, and defeated him, thereby giving Canada to the English primarily. Founded in 1675 by Charles II of England, this observatory is the oldest scientific research institution in Great Britain, or at least it was until it was closed in 1998.
However, this place is still extremely important, as it is the birthplace of time. Historically, it is a location where the Greenwich Mean Time was established. This is the reference point for timekeeping across the world.
Before this, almost every town in the world kept its own local time. There were no conventions, as it were, which said how time should be measured, or when the day would begin and end, or what length an hour might be. Right, the question I hear you asking is who decided that the Prime Meridian should be in Greenwich? And I'll give you the answer. The Greenwich Meridian was chosen as the Prime Meridian of the world in 1884, where 41 delegates from 25 nations met in Washington, D.C. for the International Meridian Conference. By the end of the conference, Greenwich had won the prize of longitude 0 degrees by a vote of 22 to 1. So that answers that question.
This is the back of the Royal Naval College. What you can see in the middle is Queen's House. This was built for Queen Anne by King James I in the early 17th century. When this was being commissioned, Queen Anne did not want to lose her view of the Thames and London. So when they commissioned Christopher Wren to build this for them, the Royal Naval Hospital was built in 2 parts, either side of the palace.
The building was completed in the 1630s for Queen Henrietta Marie, consort of Charles I.
Inside you'll find the tulip staircase. This is one of the first geometric self-supporting spiral staircases and is known for its elegant and unique design. The name tulip staircase comes from the decorative ironwork, which features a pattern resembling tulip flowers. So here we are, back where we started at the Trafalgar Tavern. We've had a wonderful day here in Greenwich. It's been about 5 hours altogether, seeing everything. So it's a really nice kind of half day to come out and see what is probably one of the most beautiful areas of London. And we're having a shandy, as you should, at the finish of any good tour. Roast dinner, beef, and the company of some new friends.
Say hi, new friends.
Hi.
Well, introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Erin.
I'm Laura.
Hi, how you doing, guys?
Nice to meet you guys. Your roast looks good.
Yes,
I'm very
hi.
jealous of Venice.
Wow.
What do you think of Venice then? I don't know. I wish you were in Venice. What do you think of Greenwich?
Lovely.
Have you had a good day? Central London. Yeah, had a good day. Marvellous.
Really nice.
Despite the rain.
And by the river.
And by the river, indeed.
Doesn't get better, does
Does
it?
it?
We hope you enjoyed our tour of Greenwich and conjured up enough interest for you to come and visit it one day yourself.
And don't forget, please help us grow the channel by hitting like and subscribe and leaving a comment. And now we have to leave before we have to sell the car to pay more parking.
Thanks for watching. Toodaloo!